What's up, flora and fauna? I'm Odd, by the way. So, temporary background change. Don't be too alarmed, okay? The gray one is not going to be here with us today. She needs to be washed. This one's a little bit shinier anyway, and it goes well with the premise that we're going to be playing around with today, which is black and white. So, well, my canvas is going to be black and white, and my shirt is actually a little gray. Then my background will be a nice, lovely, pretty color that almost matches my channel motif of cyan. Almost. It's a bit more turquoise. It was what I had on hand. And it's striped, which isn't great for a background. I need to invest in more, probably better looking fabrics or sheets to put up here if I'm going to stay devoted to this concept, but that's beside the point. I'm living on a busy street. Today we are going to be doing another color-based challenge. So, the last time that I did this, I did it inverted, and I would say, despite the fact that it might seem a little bit harder, and it's definitely a little bit more jarring on the eyes, this one I feel like might be a little bit harder than you might give it credit for, right? Because with the inverted one, I was able to figure out to some degree which colors were inverted to which other ones, because that's just how color theory works. If a color is reversed from another color on the color wheel, then typically when it's inverted, it's going to be that color, if that makes any sense. It's all like values and stuff. It's not that hard. Obviously, you might not be very good at getting what you want because it all mixes up and stuff like that. So that's the main part of that challenge. And this challenge, it's all memory based. And as much time as I have spent with my computer screen and my drawing and CSP and stuff like that, I can't say I know very much when it comes to the color wheel. Which, I mean, it's in rainbow order, so it shouldn't be too hard to guess, but once it's in black and white, this is not going to be fun. Because it's going to be so hard to figure out what is where. Like, I'm going to know, at the very least, what's saturated and what's not, and but overall, this is going to be a bit more nightmarish. I think, to me, and my poor memory, beside the inverted thing, simply because I could guess with the inverted one, and I can guess with this one, but it'll probably be a little bit less accurate. So that's going to be interesting. I'm sure I'm going to overshoot a lot of colors. I can feel it in me already. Now, what I did learn from the previous challenge was to, A, do the lines beforehand, because the lines were not really a big part of the process, although it was probably cool to see, I guess, the white lines. Like, that's not really the whole concept of the challenge, right? So I decided to go in and actually draw, sketch out and draw a full line art. It's not going to be any different than it would be in black and white. So there's no real reason for me to stress over doing that, especially on camera, or we would be here for hours, and I'd be here for hours editing. So I just decided to speed up that process, and it definitely took over an hour because I decided to do a dragon. And, I love dragons, but goddamn, you need a lot of detail. And then I decided to go for kind of a dynamic pose with kind of like a almost perspective to it, right? So that took a little bit longer, and I decided to fold in the wings, which I don't know why I do that. It kind of ruins the silhouette. I just figured that it might make the piece as a whole look a little bit more balanced and smaller. But then also I have no clue how to fold up a dragon wing, so I just kind of, I guess for lack of a better word, I wung it. And the finished process definitely turned into something that I do enjoy, and I'm excited to color this character and stuff like that. But it was also just very time consuming, and it spent a lot of time on it. So got that done and out of the way first. That is perfected. And you're probably seeing some sort of overlay of that speed paint now as things are going on. With that, here is that completed line art. I think it looks nice. I just did this last night, so I'm coming back to it with fresh eyes, and I do enjoy it. It's pretty well balanced, I think. And also, thing 2 that I learned is to possibly take... So, I have 2 monitors here, essentially, right? I have my screen tablet. It's basically created to act as a draw on screen. But what I have done for today is I have moved the transferability up from the tablet up to my desktop monitor where my webcam is, so that I'm not looking down the whole time. A, it's not good for my back, and B, I can't see you guys, and that's no fun. So I figured that I would move this up, at least for doing videos like this where I'm talking to the webcam. I felt like that was a good way to go. It's definitely different than when I had like my laptop, and I definitely needed my my screen tablet because it had much better colors. And I just noticed a little bit of an overlay here. I'm just gonna erase that little guy. There. So yeah, I am excited and hopefully be able to be a bit more engaging, and because I'm not totally focusing on the line art. That being said, I'm kind of stalling on the concept of turning this over to black and white at this point, so let's just get into it. Woo. Definitely less jarring than the inverted one, but I can't see anything. Oh, that's so weird. Okay, I think this is red. So that's a good place to start. And I'm definitely, I think a good reason for choosing a dragon is because at least I can choose some fantasy colors. Does that mean that they'll look good? Probably not. But I'm going to try my best. Okay. So what to do first? I'm scared. Okay, let's set this as a reference layer and go down a layer. Get our bucket. This is my preferred method of coloring right here. So you see, when I have the bucket on refer multiple, there's that little pen with the crosshairs. I have it on the lines, little pen with the crosshairs. And all that means is that basically the bucket is going to recognize these lines as a barrier, which means that I can color in and hopefully it won't leave these lines. That's at least the theory. And that's why I closed most of the scales and stuff, so I could get that good base down. Although what I might do first is actually kibosh that and flood fill this guy, because that's also something that I like to do. Take off refer multiple and just fill all of this in. That's actually probably bright red, isn't it? You see? That's how I can tell that there's something that hasn't been fully lined, because that happens. That's where I come in with this, and there we go. So all of this is now filled in. Like here. Yeah. Okay. So yes, this is our starting point. Now, the question is, how do I go about this? So I was thinking that it might be cool to kind of set like a gradient while we were in black and white, because I hate myself. And then we could fill in things from there, right? And we can reference them, so at least we know that they're somewhat the same color. Right? That sounds like a bad idea. But we're doing it. Okay. So we got this like circular guy. We're gonna go foreground to background. I'm going to guess this is red. Now I guess that's the question, is what kind of dragon do I want? Do I want like a classic red dragon, or do I try to do like blue? 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 And then like, this is probably dark blue. This is probably purple. Green? I don't know. I don't know. And then, oh my gosh. And then this color. I don't know what this is. Is this just white? That doesn't work. Or, oh, is it because it's like, oh. This would be like 3 colors. So this might be cool. So let's see. You are You can be bluish. Wait, no, you, sorry. You are bluish, right? And then you are greenish here. And then it'll just go between the three. Yeah? Okay. Let's do... That's kind of cool. 1 second. Let me get like a straight line or something. Or like an oval. And I can control the size of... Better? Oh gosh, this is messing with my eyes. Something fierce. Okay. Oh, this is so hard. Oh no. Okay. I'll pull in some more like red, orange, yellow, green. Some little darker green, and then just sort of put that there and there. This is so maybe on his claws. Okay, my point here is to then go in with varying colors and try to fill in the scales. Now, is this going to work? I don't know. I guess that's why we're here. How do we start? I guess just going to the next lightest. Like here. Yeah. And filling in some of the scales of the face. Lower close gap a little bit. Not that much. Come on. Well, fine, then I will just color it in. I've already got the layer locked, so yeah. This is also one of the benefits of that. Do we know what this is? Nope. Come on. Why must you do these things? Filling it in like that. You are closed. Okay. Now, maybe like a yellow. If this is yellow for his eyes. Yes? Why does it do those things? Oh, now you're doing it there. Thanks. That's excellent. Okay. Better than nothing. Okay. Will you cooperate, please? I don't understand. Going up to a different layer. Thank you. He's just confused by the gradient. I do like that darker iris, or whatever, what are they called? Sclera. I do like that darker sclera thing for this type of character. Maybe like, orange would be maybe too much. But it would pop if it were orange against the blue. Well, let's see. Okay. Next. I'm thinking we go from this to something darker. I think that's purple? Or that's purple? Let's say that's purple. And we'll just fill in the horns with varying shades of that. So in this circumstance, what I'm really just focusing on is obviously values and just trying to make this look nice overall in terms of that, and making sure that everything kind of stands out against itself, because in theory, something should look relatively okay in black and white, maybe. Okay, and then, so we did this. Let's keep going with that along the face. Maybe like these little horns. Yeah. And then like the front little muzzle area here. Maybe his chin even. That what I wanted. Chin. What is this? Green? Okay. I'm gonna go for like maybe like a dark blue. Pretend that this is blue. Down here. These are all kind of very saturated, so I'm a little freaked out, but that's okay. Okay, and let's go back up to our purple and fill in the claws. Yeah. It's looking cool, at least, like in terms of black and white. Okay. Do sort of something like that. And then kind of alternate between the scales as we go up their body. Remembering to go back down as we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. You, maybe? Okay. And then take you. Put you there. Oh, right. Oh, there. Take you. Put you there. There and there. Now, supposedly the lighter color here is green, right? So if we take this guy and we kind of darken him like there, fill in these scales. That should look nice. And then go back into the blue for the wing fold. Darken that. There we go. Now it's just a matter of making sure that I've got like all of the... Okay, so I'm going to take this color on the face and overlay it with a little bit less opacity over this part of the muzzle, and hopefully that'll give us some like cohesion. It's always how I do it in my other drawings. I wanted you. I don't understand why you do this. Why can't I just fill it in the way I want to? Well, regardless. It is done. Good, 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 good. Now it's just a matter of kind of layering things until maybe they look okay. So like, take this, kind of over the toesies, in between, yeah. Put it on that back foot, why not? Take this guy, take this guy, put it over some of these guys for some layering. Add in some of the next darkest one here. And keep doing that for more solid colors all throughout the piece, I think. Bringing this color into this area beneath the tail. So that looks nice. And then I might lower the opacity on this. Take like one of these lighter colors and go in on every other couple scales on this tail. Make that look nice. Oh, it's all starting to mesh together in my brain. Woo! Okay, there's a lot of this dark. I might pull it back. Well, the whole point is that it, okay, goes back to front. Maybe I could bring it in better though. So this, back here. Maybe even overlay it over some of the other things. Especially further up. as it goes down the body, perhaps? Maybe. And then over all the scales that I just... Okay. So these back areas for a little bit more shadow, maybe. At this point, I'm just going crazy and hoping something sticks. Okay. And then get that extra little wing flap down here. Make sure that that's got some good coverage of the same color. After I bump up the opacity on this again. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to look at for so long. Doesn't help that there's a light in my eyes. So that's kind of, oh, let's see, actually, kind of body-ish stuff I should probably take care of. So like, here, here. It doesn't need to be natural skin tone, but I want to make sure that there's something for the ears. Yeah. I might even, for these horns, make sure that the colors are still pretty good. Okay. Go in on this thumb with that color, whatever it is. Okay. Huh. So like, visually it doesn't look bad. So that's good. Okay. I'm gonna go for another one. To layer below. And we're gonna go in with some shading, I think. Or do I try to pick a background first? So this is gonna be like green and blue. So hopefully, at least. So like maybe here, and then like desaturate it a little bit. That. And hope that that's good. Oh, darn it, the opacity is down again. Forgot about that. Okay. So we got our dark background, and then you can do like a little craggy stone or something back here. Try to. That should be good. And then like this, sort of do like a cracked stone situation. I'm using the fact that I know at least two colors are going to be relatively similar to my advantage here. But I'm also not trying to make sure that it's not just identical. So we've got these little hexagonal rock creases, whatever they are. This dragon is in a cave now. Semi-volcanic sort of dark, damp cave. Yes. Okay. And then I'm gonna do like a darker version of this. Have that come down from the top and the bottom. That looks pretty cool, right? I don't mind it. I dig it. Have this like multiply. That looks cool. Okay, so we've got that kind of semi-background figured out. Is it lazy? Yes. But that's not totally why we're here. And if I were to try to do a whole background with 0 colors, I feel like that'd be a totally different video. So, shading. Think again, based off of pure speculation and partial memory, that is purple. And I like to shade in purple. I'm also going to already put this to multiply. Usually I stay in the color beforehand, but I think this should be good for me. Just have that whole arm be in shadow. I typically, like, I'll go for, like, I guess, a light source, and maybe it's often the same light source, and it's not like my total intention. I'll pick basically a kind of random possible light source for like all of my shading. Like, I guess that this background could work as some sort of light for this character, more just like ambient, so I'm just following my heart here. And honestly, that's what I do half the time. Is it great? No. But it's better than nothing. In my universes where I've created dragons, mostly Thrakos, which is one of my ongoing stories, dragons are, along with birds, basically the descendants of dinosaurs. And so they even, like, some species start out with like little downy feathers. I think that that's adorable. So yes, dragons are not reptiles, at least not in my universe. They're birds, which also explains this kind of wing structure. Bats have it too, which is interesting, that whole like divergent evolution thing, right? Where they have that hand structure that's very similar to what was developed by other flying creatures. And it makes sense because I guess for whatever reason that bone structure existed first and it just turned into wings. But it's kind of fascinating that both species sort of decided, but not really, to go for hand wings. Bats still have their thumbs. I know some animal facts. I obsessed over a lot of them when I was a kid, if it wasn't obvious. I had the Stella Luna movie. I don't know if anybody else had that. I'm sure a whole bunch of people have seen it. I still love one of the songs from that movie. And it's totally just like a made-for-TV or made-for-video sort of production. It's almost not one of those things that you see anymore. I think that it is adorable because it kind of expands upon the story of Stella Luna while still telling it. It's obviously like a very young children's movie. It also came with an episode of that show with the creepy spider guy. It was like Mrs. Spider's Sunny Patch. It came with like the pilot episode for that for some reason, the DVD version of it that I had. I was a kid that was obsessed with like DVD extras, and that was how I learned a lot about bats. I guess that's where I was going. James Baxter's How to Animate Horses on Spirit the Stallion of the Cimarron, and the bat facts on the end of Stella Luna. Those were my jam. I'd watch them over and over and over and over and over again when I got sick of watching the movies over and over and over and over and over again. Did you ever have anything like that though? Like a movie, especially like those like extra features that came with DVDs that are kind of going away? Like those behind the scenes, or even like the games and stuff that you could play on DVDs? I loved like all of them. Hours of content. Was it? No. But I made it into that. My parents probably got me new movies just so that they wouldn't have to sit through the DVD screen of the same movie again and again. But hey, it fed my artistic curiosity, and so for that I'm grateful. Because I was always so fascinated by how people made things. Like, I think one of the last movies that I got with something like that was Bolt. Was that like, well, it was probably the last of like the ones that I really watched, at least. And yeah, I loved learning about how they kind of implemented traditional art pieces into a 3D background by like tiling them on top of the 3D models. I thought that was cool. What I'm really curious about, and I might do in the future, is I want to learn a little bit how to use Blender. So if anybody wants to goad me into like following a Blender tutorial and making that a video, you let me know. Because I don't know if it would be good content. I'm sure someone would watch it, but I'm obviously not very good at it. And I haven't downloaded Blender since I've gotten my new shiny computer. I'm sure she would do much better than my laptop ever did. I ran Blender on my laptop. I did. Good job to Huckleberry, honestly, my laptop, my little black laptop, for putting up with the stuff that I put it through, because, oh my gosh. I have been working, like, just playing around with possibly designing a game character. I always kind of am curious about it. It just seems like something that I could maybe get out as like an actual finished story and have people interact with it, and I think that that'd be really cool. Am I just talking to fill the silence? Yes, I am. I figured that it would be better than nothing, and honestly, it's been a while since I've just talked to hear my own voice. That's why we're here, though, isn't it? Because this process is taking forever. I am a little tired. I woke up a little early for me, so I'm surprisingly chatty. I'm at that perfect stage of delirium where I'm able to just keep talking. It's going to be very, like, doom and gloomy at this point with the size that this is. I probably could have gone over this in whole with the shadow and just taken out the light bits, but we're already here, so guess this is what I'm doing. Vague story time, not related to the drawing at hand. We went to the store today, and there was a child. You know, there's always a child, I think, hanging out with his grandparents. It was a Costco. But this young child was toddling about with his grandparents at the Costco. He couldn't have been older than 5. Like, probably still a toddler, basically. Baby. He had on shoes that squeaked. And I don't mean like squeaky boots, like the episode of SpongeBob. That's actually an allegory for the Telltale Heart. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Not for a long time, at least. But not in that regard. Not like, oh, they were squeaking because they were rubbing up against the floor. He was dragging his feet. No. They were like squeaky toys. Like how some kids' shoes light up when they kick them. This little boy's squeaked like a dog squeaky toy every time he took a step. There were a lot of people in the Costco. And it is a big building. If you've never been to a Costco, it's like, I don't even know if I could, it's like a small city. And there was a child wandering around there, and the whole time you didn't have to see him, because you knew where he was. Freaking squeak. The whole time. I am not angry at this young child. I'm not even angry at the adult that obviously hated whomever birthed this child that probably gave them the shoes, or I suppose maybe the sadist or the masochistic parents that decided to bring that upon themselves. No, I'm not angry at anyone in that situation, okay? They're just victims of whoever invented that shoe. Whoever decided that would be a good idea has a job in hell. Like, they're like one of the demons in Good Omens that just, like, workshop evil things to do to humanity. It was so much. I hope he had fun. I hope that he had a good day and he got all the free samples that he wanted. Oh my god. I had another weird dream last night. I have these dreams fairly often where I'm playing like a new version of Pokemon, because it's on my mind a lot. And in this dream, I was playing some version of Emerald. Obviously, Rayquaza was a big part of it, but there was like a way to transfer Pokemon from other generations, but none of them were right. None of them were like actual Pokemon. And also what I was working with was some sort of emulator that was out of date, so it wouldn't let me transfer anything, which I suppose made sense. It's Emerald, it's several years old. That's all I remember in that regard, but like also like there was this giant cutscene and Rayquaza was like the size of a mountain. There was this one scene where I went up to the professor. For some reason there was a lab inside of a Pokemart or Pokemon Center, and when I talked to him, or not even when I talked to him, it sent me into a battle in which I could capture some random Pokemon that probably didn't exist. I don't think I had any Pokemon that actually did exist. Maybe like a Charmeleon? That sounds right. But otherwise, I had no clue, like, in post what those Pokemon were. I wish I could remember what they looked like, because I know some of them were kind of, like, obscure and, like, wild, but I just can't. I can't for the life of me remember, because, like, after that, there was this huge cutscene, and I just gone through this battle, and I, like, followed everyone out to watch Rayquaza land, I suppose, and it was just laying there, and it looked completely different. It had, like, spines coming out of its back. It looked, like, corrupted. And maybe that was part of whatever version I was playing. I don't remember. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go heal first. As there's this like massive Pokemon in the background. Simultaneously is like when I am in those games in my dreams, it's like I'm simultaneously playing and living them. And it's always mildly horrifying. Like, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it is awesome. But like, imagine seeing that in a scenario where it feels like you're living it. And then, like, all of this stuff could be an actual physical danger to you. That's often how I feel when I, like, play video games and there's a glitch or something, too. Like, I feel physically unsafe. I know I'm not, but my anxiety just kicks up instantly, and I'm like, this isn't right. I don't like this. So after all that, hopefully, I think this should be pretty well lined out. I'm sure all these lines are actually covered. I'm gonna go in with some bigger shadows here. Do like a kind of a drop shadow here. Darker, I suppose. I guess this is also multiplied. Okay, that looks dope. I'm gonna lower that down a little bit. Not a lot, because I think I like the kind of dramatic effect. And I might also, and blur the drop shadow a little bit. And also, while I'm here, since it's color-based, I'm going to duplicate this guy. Take that off. And blur this a little bit more than the shadow, actually. This is one of my favorite things to do to make things look cool. And then maybe like hoping again that this is purple. Lighter, maybe. Block this duder. Go in with a big brush. Paint all that over. And then just lower that, the opacity. And it looks cool, usually. Makes it look a little bit, like, lively. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I should also go in with some, like, little shiny details. I feel like that might be good. Go on a layer above and do like linear light, like a yellow for the eyes. Oh, if that is yellow, a bit of sheen here. And I might go around with like, let's pretend this is light blue, and just like highlight little bits and pieces here and there, make it look like scale details or something. I proceed to remain silent for several minutes. Honestly, I'm a little bit scared to change this, so I'm kind of stalling. But like, I also want to make sure that this is a nice looking piece if it does turn out okay? It's probably not gonna. But we can dream. We can manifest it if we want. Okay, and I'm gonna lower that down a little bit, actually. That's nice. Okay. Who's ready? I'm not. Let's sign it. 2 seconds. Wanted color filters. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Woo! Huh. That is interesting. That is not what I expected at all. A lot of the blue got taken out, but it's still there a little bit, and it's cool. I kind of love it. Like, honestly, with the contrasting between the green and the purple, it kind of looks like Green Goblin. But, like, oh my gosh, that contrast, okay, right there, that gradient between the green and the blue on the wing, though, that is my whole life. Like, I love this. If I could fix, like, if I could make something that looked like that, I would be happy. But, oh my gosh, it's cool. I thought that I had more blue than I had green. So yeah, if I went in with that lighter blue, it had to have been, yeah, it was kind of on like the cyan as opposed to the green. I don't hate it. I mean, I'm glad that I was able to guess that certain colors were certain colors. Like, I like the purples. The purple is definitely very, very bright. The eyes turned out okay. It looks like the Hulk. I'm not mad about it. Like, if I were to design a character like this, I definitely go for the colors that were nearby the wings. It's so strange, and I guess I wound up with a bit of a cliche dragon because he's almost all green. That's interesting. It's kind of like he's growing into his adult colors, right? Like he went from like green to like a fun peacock color. I really like it. I think that that's super cool. And I might try later on to try and clean this up. Right now, I'm a little tired, so that I think I'm going to end this here. But that was an adventure. And it turned out way cooler than I imagined it was. I was ready for clown colors, and I mean, they can be. Did it turn out like perfect? No, but did it turn out cool? Absolutely. I freaking love this guy. I didn't even notice. I kind of got his ears right. Like they're kind of a flesh tone. So yeah, at that, I think that I'm going to leave this here with this cool dragon design. Yeah, let me know what you thought about this. If you have any other challenge ideas or concepts that you think that would be fun to see from me, let me know. Give this video a like if you liked it, and possibly subscribe. I'm going to be doing quite a few bit more. I'm going to be doing some more art challenges in the near future. But until then, I will see y'all next time.